how people make decisions and how they learn and how our brain thinks. Through that time, I went through all of my savings. I built up student debt. I had student debt. I built up credit card debt. I came out the other side, and Denver was still in a recession. So I had a PhD, but there were no jobs. And I was just putting whatever I could do. I was a professional astrologer. I would bartend. I would teach an online class. And I remember there was a day I went outside and thought, I don't know what's wrong, but I'm going to change it. Because I can't help people stressed. And it was, I just remember that moment, looking up at the sky and saying, I will have every place and changing this. And that started my own deep journey about relationship with money. And that changed what I did with money, the actions. My thoughts about what I would be willing to do and not do, how I would invest my energy, because money is energy. And there's absolutely a spiritual component to energy. There's also a practical component. There's things we have to do. I can dream about going on a great vacation until I book tickets. It's not happening. Right? So there's an action piece in there too. That was my own journey. My first big job was a chair, and then a dean, and then an academic dean, a dean of arts and sciences, and then a dean of another university, and completely changed my financial picture. Completely. And then it was interesting because I knew I was done with my career because I reached the goal. And all of a sudden I was no longer happy with my job. When I checked in, I remember this was, I think, my goal.
Do you think it's important to set those kinds of goals? I mean, when we're looking at trying to make financial gains in our life, if we're changing that kind of relationship with our sense of what money is it important to set goals? And maybe not like, I want to buy, a house over here and a yacht over here, but just something manageable so that you can gain some confidence of being able to meet those little goals so that you can take a bigger leap.
Absolutely. I think there's little goals that help, but I think the biggest piece is what is it you really want to do? In the end, we don't want that particular house on that particular house. What I want is comfort, and I want to be warm, safe, and dry, and I want my friends to come visit me and feel comfortable with me, and that's what I want. That's what I really want. So it's sort of a feeling of it. Then, what do I have to do to get there? And that's an action. That might be a numbers piece. That might be actually how do I do it for me? Mine was I was going to get financial stability. That's what I was going to get.
Well, I mean, and being a fellow student and getting a master's degree, you incur a lot of debt. Oh my gosh. And if there's no jobs available, or if you've gone, like for me, I went outside of the traditional norm because I wanted to develop something new, a different modality, and something original in that way. And then you come out and you're like, well, what do I do?
What do I do?
What do I have? How do I
spend all this money for this thing that isn't even physical.
Right, it's not physical.
What do I do with this? How do I do that? And the world has changed while you're getting that degree. And now what I thought I would do is I can heal. What do I do? Right? And so I think that's the need to be fluid, we talk about resiliency in almost everything in the world. Resiliency is being fluid, being creative, understanding that life changes, understanding that we are so capable. If we just give ourselves permission to think of it. I think where I see people get truly hung up with money is they have a picture in their head of who they're supposed to be, who they've been, and then there's a wall. I have a glass ceiling. I can't get to the other side of the wall. So these assumptions about us, and assumptions about how I can get there, what I to do. There's so much emotional baggage around the energy of money. It's hysterical. Right? Like chocolate is like a whole other. You can say you love chocolate. You love pizza.
I love chocolate.
I love skiing. Great. You love money. It's fascinating.
Isn't it? I mean, and it's true. We have this sense of like this resistance that we can't love money. That if we love money, that we must be greedy. we must be this miser, this,
Right.
someone who wants to do, malicious things, malevolent things with it, and we're just thinking all this is self-interest, right? It's all
Right.
about, and so we have this really negative connotation with it.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
so how do we switch that? I mean, when you're talking about, what do you mean when you talk about having a relationship with money?
So, it's really kind of funny. If you've ever gone to a foreign country and gotten somebody else's money, right, in your hand, their coins look like money, but their paper just looks like really cool paper. It doesn't look like money, right? It isn't that we love money, we love what money can do. And that's where we start to see that change. Right? I want to take my kids on a trip. That's what money can do. I would personally, my next big goal is I'd like to be a major builder. So I'm trying to jump to another level financially because I would love to be a major. I would love to get down to that. So that's where when we talk about love of money, we're really talking about love of money. Relationship, we're talking about money goes where it's loved. Right? I was talking to somebody the other day about having a date with your money. Like you glance your checkbook, you look occasionally and see what's in the bank. Can you imagine treating a friend like this where you automatically have Christmas cards and birthday cards and you never check them? Once a year, they would not be your friend.
No.
But that's how many people treat money. They got all the automatic payments. They don't balance their checking account. They don't know what's in their savings account. They have an overdraft protection. They're not sure what's in that. And they have no knowledge of their money.
Well, that makes sense too, because if you don't have a healthy relationship, if you're not dialoguing, if you're not in contact, if you're not, keeping track and investing some time into your relationship, you're not going to have a relationship with your people.
Nobody's going to want to be with you. It's just not it, right? It's just how it works. Right. And money's just another form of energy like that. Wow. And you have to invest in, and I don't mean invest, take the money with you. You have to invest time in what is money about. And for some reason, we are so influenced by money. People would rather talk about their sex lives than talk about money. So we're embarrassed. And sometimes we feel like it's different. That we are good.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's numbers.
Well, I think money too is something, and maybe this will help some people out there who are tuning in, that money will only be a reflection of who you are. Because if you're a giving person, you're going to be more giving. Because you're going to have a lot more to be able to, if your generosity, if you have a generous spirit, you're going to be able to do things with it and have big, donations that you might give to an organization that you like. Or if you want to have a party and you love being a social life, you're going to be able to do that and have a beautiful, party and all those things.
Because I think it's those choices we make about money. Money can be dangerous for people, I have to say, because sometimes we believe we're a better person. We're using it as a measure, as opposed to an energy. So I'm better because I have more. That's where things become dangerous. And we get trapped in it. And I think we see that immediately. You're better if you have a newer, better car. You're better if you have a newer, better house. I was talking to a client the other day, and she asked if she should get a new car. I said, how's the other one working? She said, great. The value of a car is it gets you safely from A to B.
Right.
That's it. Right. Is it doing that? Well, yeah. And I don't think you need a car. Well, my job. You will not be better at your job. Right?
Well, I'm
so
sure you won't.
I think it's when we misconnect those ideas. That's when money becomes.
I agree, because if it's only about you, if you feel like you're better, and that goes into that sense of, I'm special, I'm entitled, I have all of this, I must be, something really extraordinary about me because I have all of this money and you don't. And it somehow it feeds into that sense of power. Absolutely. And I have power over you in some way. And the more I accumulate it, it becomes an exchange of power.
That's right.
And then and so it's really not feeding into what money is really about. It's an exchange. It's an exchange
And
of
it's
energy.
supposed to keep flowing.
Right.
So that hoarding it doesn't do you any good. Like how many I've had a couple clients who were multimillionaires, and they were miserable because they spent their time worrying about their money flowing away. What good does it do? What can you do? I don't understand. Like, would you notice if it wasn't there? It's in these other accounts. Your life wouldn't change.
Right.
So money is I think it's a reflection of who we feel ourselves to be, how we live spiritually, how we live emotionally, what we believe from our past. It's a reflection. What we do with money is a reflection of all of that. And we have choice. We can change that.
Well, if we're talking about that, how choice can be such an important aspect of being able to create money and to create abundance. And, intellectually we get this. We get it, and we're talking about it. We get it, but money, it's so hard to get it from our head into our heart and into our body.
Right.
So, how much of our, let's look at it from this perspective first. How much of our outside influences, our environment, impacts our ability to create money? I mean, does it impact it? Does society's economic structure impact the way we feel we can make money or not?
I think it even starts before that. Quick example, we know that boys and girls are equal in math skills until about 7th grade. When the girls are told that girls aren't good enough and the boys are good enough. Okay? So we know that humans respond to expectations. There's so much research out there about you're taking a test, a standardized test, and somebody reminds you that you come from a socioeconomic group that doesn't do well on tests. But being told that changes your results. How you do it. So yeah, humans are very, very susceptible to the media, to what we hear, to negative messages, to personal messages. So if you're told you're never going to amount to something, right, there's got to be something in you that fights against that to change it. If you come from a culture where this is the best you ever do, and this is fine, that may be true, but you have to fight against that. And then we have media messages that are all about money, and all about luxury, and all about buying, especially this one. All about that the way you show you love someone is you buy them something, as opposed to spending time. So yeah, I think we're susceptible to all of those messages from our past, our family, our culture, our society, based on gender and background. I mean, every way you can think of a demographic.
Yeah.
A demographic probably has a message about it.
Well, if there are so many barriers, people would be resistant, and almost like it's like, there's no way I'm ever going to be able to overcome all of these things. And then you hear a report. It was last week I read this report. It was on CBS News, and they were reporting a study done by the Brookings Institute, which is, they try to be nonpartisan and neutral, which stated, and this was last week, that America's unemployment rate is at a half-century low, which is wonderful. And it also has a job quality problem that affects almost half the population. Between the ages of 18 to 64 are employed in low-wage jobs that pay median annual wages of $18,000 a year.
It's not even up to poverty level.
That's not even up to poverty level. That's 44% that are living. How can people be able to even think about trying to create abundance in their life when they're just like, oh my gosh, I've got to pay these bills. How am I going to pay the car payments? How am I going to pay the rent? And it's like you're being on, it's like you're on a hamster wheel. So you just keep spinning and spinning and spinning. So, I mean, I'm sure there are thousands of people who are listening right now who are struggling with this. How can they bridge this gap when this is the reality? That it's, that so many, 44% of Americans are facing, to struggle to bridge that gap to financial independence that we're talking about. What could you say to these people to give them some hope that their lives can change, that their circumstances can change? What could they start doing? today?
And the first thing that I've had clients like this is let's just start with creating a sense of calm at some point somewhere in your life. My mantra for many people when they call on God is I'm going to sleep in God. Right this moment, and love and sleep. That's good. It's a good place to start. Many people need financial management advice, the true money piece. What are you bringing in? What are you spending? Where else do you have a side hustle, do you have another way of bringing in money? What's your true financial picture? And it's so embarrassing for people, but you've got to get that. You've got to know what are you really bringing in? What are the other assets you have? Okay. Now we have reality. We don't have emotion, we have fact. Emotion is I spent too much of groceries. Fact is I spent this much on food and this much on vegetables and this much on bread. That's a fact. So we get down to facts. And then the next piece is what can you do? Because you got to get your own back. You've got to make money. You've got to do something. How do we do that? What is actually out there that you have not tapped into? Be amazed at the ways that people can improve their life via a different job if they will let go of I'm not smart enough, I'm not talented enough, I have no way to do that. And then things they just don't know. I was reading something similar that there are industries right now that are just crying out for people. And somebody told me the other day that some of these industries are saying we're going to get rid of the requirement for bachelor's degree because it's a false measure. Show up for training. All right, let's see, where can we go where you can show up? You may not love that job, but it's a bridge. Let's get you on a bridge. If we could double your income, increase your worry, have you learn some skills, you might have opportunities you never even thought of. So, it's a process.
Wow, I love that. And because you're trying sometimes, so often we're trying to take too much all at once.
Right.
We think it's like we have, I think we're trying to strike gold. And now we're panhandling. We're keep hoping, we're going to get that.
Right.
Those
I'll buy
golden
5 more
nuggets.
lotto tickets and maybe that'll solve my problem.
Right, if I just keep gambling, if I keep doing something,
Right.
and keep taking this. And so we probably want to be able to balance risk, maybe those things that we, but with something much more,
and
substantive.
you got to get rid of the embarrassment. Yes, there are people who are born wealthy. It's an accidental birth. We're not better than you. We take different pathways. I took the pathway of higher ed. But, I went through all my savings. I had debt. I was embarrassed. I was thinking today, I was remembering back how I couldn't open a checking account because my credit rating was so bad. And I had no income except I was on jobs, and the bank would not give me checking account.
Wow.
That's where I was. When
Wow.
I talk to people about, I get it, I know where you are.
Yeah.
Well,
that's the good news.
That's the good news.
That's the good news. There's a way out.
There's a way out. There's always a way out.
And my dad, he used to he watches the show all the time. But he used to tell me to respect money. That you got to respect money, son. If you don't respect it, it won't respect you. And you won't be able to hold on to it. And I didn't think, we still
I have to respect this piece of paper.
This piece of paper doesn't make sense. It's just a piece of paper.
Just a piece of paper.
And he would ask me like question, do you know what you have in your wallet right now? And of course I'd say no. I just have what is in my wallet. And he says, well, but you've got to know what's inside it. Just because what's in your wallet, it's just a way of showing respect to it. And if you want to keep it, you need to respect it. How important is that? Do you believe we need to respect our money?
Either respect it, like it, something, have a relationship with it. So for me, it might be how much is in your checking account, how much is in your savings account, how much what debt is on your credit card, how are you treating that? How are you hiding from it?
Yeah.
Many people hide from it. If I don't think about the debt, right?
It's not there. I don't have to think about it. I don't see it.
I know.
It's not there.
And so if you notice, money goes where money is right.
Yeah.
then as soon as I have people simply start changing how they treat their money, have a date with you, check in on them, balance your checking account, all of a sudden there are changes in what they have. Partly, maybe they're not overspending, maybe they're making different choices. So, for example, I'm not criticizing anybody's choices, but let's say you are every day on the way to work, you stop and buy coffee, and every day on the way home, you got a different day. You buy coffee and something else. You could end up spending $50 to $70 a week. Wow. You think about it. Think about coffee. Think about croissant. Think about what you're spending a week. Once you notice what you're spending, you might say, you know what, I'm only going to spend. I'm not going to totally do it. I'm going to spend $20.
Right.
I'm going to put the rest in savings. Ski season comes around, and you know what? I have money to ski, and I want to do. Or I'm going to put it towards my credit card. Just weekly putting that money towards your credit card and pay down the debt.
That makes sense. And and when you're talking about coffee, right? I love having my coffee. That's that's just one of my rituals in the morning. And when I do that, that's just I love it. And I know that if I just cut back on it just a little bit, I wouldn't be spending as much money that I do because it's an indulgence. It really is an indulgence.
And so I've shifted my coffee to home coffee. That I make this pot at home. I buy good coffee, which is still left. Good coffee. And I make coffee and have that first cup in the morning. And even if I'm driving, but I don't buy it. And I'm not criticizing. I think a large part of that money is what is it I'm really trying to get? And what we're usually trying to get is comfort, love, connectedness, all those things that have nothing to do with what we think money is about. That's what we want. Those are things human drives to belong. Warm and safe and dry and loved and beautiful and belonging and meaning and purpose. That's what I want. Okay, now that we're clear on that, how are you using your money to get you there? Because many of us are.
No, that's true. Oh my gosh, absolutely. And I think it was Warren Buffett. I think he was one of the. He's great.
He's great. He drives an older car. He lives at the house that he bought. I don't know how long ago. Right? He gives his money away. He said, invest in things you understand.
Yeah.
I think that's brilliant.
I think that's so simple and so
I know. If it's confusing, don't put your money there. Don't do it, right? Or learn about it. Right? I mean, scammers actually rely on that. It sounds too good to be true. You don't really understand it. You trust them because you don't want to admit you don't understand it.
I think that's a great, you hit on something. There's so many scammers out there. And they're always, what are some of the clues that people can notice so that, they want to, we're talking about money here, but there's people that are out there that are just, they prey upon people's insecurities, they prey upon their naivety, they prey upon their gullibility, and these con men and women, they can sense it, they smell it. And you can get caught up, got caught up in a lot of scams.
Very smart people get caught up in scams.
Yes,
it's not an indication of lack of intelligence in any way, shape, or form. Scammers are really good.
Yeah.
Really good.
Really good.
And they've gotten better. So it looks real. It comes across the computer screen, maybe even a phone call. It looks and sounds real. You don't quite understand it. So you don't understand it, don't you? That's me.
They'll push you. They'll push you. It's like they want to get you right there.
Something is legit. When you say, I need time to think, they let you read. That's right.
I think that's a big one.
It's a big one. And then go research. If they promise you something that really I beat the market all the time. Nobody beats the market all the time. I'm sorry. If they can't give you a reason why this fits in with your long-term plan, if you didn't go to them, they came to you, let's be listening to them. Somebody calls you up and teaches you something, it's probably the same.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
And when it comes to money, I go to people to talk about it. They don't they show up on my computer screen.
That's good. I love that. Yeah, because that's a great thing. If you're looking for financial advice, you're going to talk to people
right.
and seeking their advice and looking at
That's
that.
right.
And they're not going to try to put you into something that they need you to make an immediate decision on. That's what I always get. And it's like, you got to do this right now. This is an opportunity of a lifetime. You're going to miss out. There's only a few people left. There's only a few weeks left. And if you don't jump on this, you're going to miss out on your folks coming in and all that.
Right. And so humans fear loss more than anything else.
Yeah.
That's our number one fear. Once I own it, I'm afraid of losing it. Afraid of losing out. That's our number one fear. It's just bred into us. So if somebody says you're going to lose, wow, then I have to do something. And this is funny. This is actually a story. They were trying. The government was trying to get people to get more flu shots. It was actually doctors, and they said, I think if we tell people that we don't have as many flu shots available, they need to get them because you're afraid of missing out. Stores do it all the time.
Yeah,
you only have these. You can only have these. We are very susceptible.
Wow.
I knew a woman who, for a while, was the I don't know what you call it, the head of prison. Not prison, but the director of whatever the hell it is. And she said, in a moment of chaos, stop. And you take deep breaths. And she goes, I give myself 30 seconds, 60 seconds to simply and believe. Okay, nothing in my life is as critical as prison riots. I can take time to think this thing. And it comes to my life. Absolutely need to not respond to that fear.
Yeah.
But, so I'm smart. I'll figure this out. I'll think this through.
I think that's great because I think sometimes we all have a little bit of a gambler in us. You know,
I think that's just a
little bit. We like trying. We're going like this, and so if you feed that, right, it's almost like an addiction. You're always chasing after it, and then you get a little winnings, and you feel good, and then you got to do it again and do it again. But what is it going to cost you?
That's right.
What is it going to cost you in the long run?
And what are you getting out of the risk?
Yeah.
Some people enjoy that. I mean, there's things I enjoy, there's things I don't enjoy.
Yes.
So I'm willing to spend money to fill myself with a different experience. And some people need bigger risks to do that.
Now, I think a lot of people, so much of our ideas about money come from what we were taught in our homes, right? That my home money was never made into an evil in my parents' home. I was lucky in that way. We always felt like money was always around. We always had enough. It helped you to do things and enhance and augment your life. So it wasn't made into an evil. But I know many people have that idea of this negative relationship with money. Hearing things like money doesn't grow on trees and money is the root of all evil. How much, Lisa, do our beliefs around the theme of money stem back to our childhood and the patterns we inherited by our parents?
I can't give you a percent, but I can tell you that so much of everything in our lives comes from our cultural background, our family background, things we learned growing up. That our brain is forming, unfortunately, we're building synapses. Synapses, things acquired together, stay together. Right? So that the more I think about money and treat money in a certain way, the more I believe it to be true. And the world I live in is the world I believe to be true. So large parts of our understandings and experience of money come from those messages we get. And I think for most of us, they're very conflicting messages. You're told to save. Money doesn't grow on trees. And then you're told to maybe be generous. I know people who have a lot of money who said they were kind of taught that they should feel just a little guilty. The messages cross. Different cultures have different messages, different socioeconomic groups. And we grow up and they're hidden in our brain. We do not know that we are acting from those messages. We don't know that we're acting from those messages.
Well, and those messages got in, that the child's brain, all the way up until 6 years old, all those stuff, they don't have really the capacity to reason things. The analytical part of the brain is not good.
And actually, we now know, just so you know, that these frontal lobes actually are completely formed and pruned at about 26.
Wow.
So we have a little brain, and we get all these neurons going, and then at 2, the brain prunes. So things that it's too compacted, it's too much. We prune the stuff we want. And then we keep adding and adding and adding and adding. And then in our teen years, believe it or not, I joke because I love teenagers, that watch your 2-year-old. That's exactly who they're going to be, except for the bigger vocabulary and the cartoons. When they're teenagers, their brain prunes again. Our brain prunes again. Okay? And then we prune, and then the structure becomes sort of set by about the time of 26. A little later in men, a little younger in women, hormonally and probably experience-wise. But that's about when it finally forms.
That's amazing. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
So teenagers, for example, know the risks. They absolutely know the risks. They have no idea those risks are there.
Well, and that's how those things that can get so deeply embedded into your unconscious and your subconscious mind, because there's no filter. There's nothing that is that they can analyze and say, is this true or is this not true? Is there somebody telling me something that is valid or not valid? And so if you're taking in an idea that money is the root of all evil, and that's what you're operating on, oh my gosh, you're going to see everything. Everybody like that. He must have gotten it in a sinister way, or she must have done something in order to get that money. I mean, so you always
and they're bad people.
And they're bad people.
Right. If they have money, they're bad people.
Yeah.
And we don't even know those thoughts are necessarily in there or where they came from. But we grow up with messages, and I think one of the most powerful things sometimes to do is to just go back and hear the messages. And this isn't about blaming the parents in any way, shape, or form. But this is what they did the best they could from their peers. And so,
well, in their environments, if they were born like the Depression, if you grew up in the Depression, you're going to have a completely different understanding about money than if you didn't.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. So what did we learn, and what is still here, and what's true and what's not true?
I think it was Andy Carnegie who said that. And I think this can apply to money as well. If it starts out as a lie, everything else that follows it is a lie.
Absolutely.
Even if they even if they mix in some truth in there,
it's still a lie.
It's still a lie. It started out.
If you start, it's a scientific principle. If you start with a bad first assumption, then everything's wrong. If you measure incorrectly in the beginning, it can't work, even if everything after that's right.
Oh God, it's amazing. This is incredible. But I think a lot of times that people, when we live in a culture that really talks about how hard it is to make money. You've got to do all these different things, and I think one of the things that I picked up when I was growing up, was that life was unfair, and that to make money you had to work your butt off. And in my mind, as I got older, I was thinking, there's got to be a better way.
Right.
And then what I'm telling you, because if I could figure out a way to do something that I love and do it well and get paid for it well, work wouldn't seem like slavery to me. And that's kind of the way it was. Like I was chained to this desk, and they didn't want to be like this. They had to be, free in that way. And so for me, I struck out on a different path, but I haven't quite found that recipe for freedom yet, that financial freedom. And I know there are many other people out there who are going through the same kind of struggles and dilemmas and frustrations that I have. Elisa, could you give us some advice on the process that you use?
Sure.
Just a few things that could help us, all of us, to unlock that flow of money towards us in different ways, unimaginable ways.
So the first thing I want to talk about is the difference between struggle and hard work. So, for example, I love having a big dog. I have a very big dog. A big dog takes hard work. It's hard. She's hard to train. She's bigger than me. She's bigger than me. So she's hard to train. She was hard to train. She's getting her places is more difficult. I was at the vet the other day and the vet looked at it and said, "There's just so much of it." So it's hard work. It isn't struggle. I love having big dogs. And big dogs are hard work. Okay. I love going sailing. Sailing is hard work. So we have to separate struggle and hard work. I don't mind working. I want struggle, right? And like you said, if it's something I enjoy and invested in it, then yeah, it's hard work, but it's okay. So that's the first. I start people really. They're kind of four steps. The first is, what is it you truly desire in people? What are your values? And so I talk about symmetry. How much of your life is in symmetry with what you believe? Step two, subtraction. And if you're an artist, you'll recognize these as sort of a way of creating elegant design concepts. What do we need to subtract? It's not about adding in. What do we need to subtract from your life because it's not in alignment with your values?
That makes sense.
Right? I mean, that's the first thing we have to do. And that might be attitude, it might be belief systems, it might be ways you spend money, it might be things that you think you have to do. I have to go out to lunch with my friends because they won't like me, as opposed to meeting people for a walk. You know, what can you change? What do you have to subtract? Subtraction, emptiness, allows us to bring in, and I love the word seduction because that's really what we're doing. We're seducing my thinking.
Oh wow, I like that.
Right? So
That's
now you
cool.
have an emptiness, an empty space. It's seductive. You walk into empty space.
Right.
All right.
That's a vulnerable place too, right? Because if you're taking things away, it's opening up that void a little bit inside of it. Right?
Which, again, this isn't a step by step. This is we're going to end up going back and recognizing the fears. Wow, when I got rid of my busyness, I had time. And I really wanted time. I thought I needed to work harder to get somebody to do these chores for me, so I kept time. Oh no, I don't have time. I could work fewer hours. Not have to pay somebody. I have time. Right? So it changes that. And then we move to sustainability. And sustainability is about sufficiency. So there's some belief systems. There's tons of people who write on this topic. And one of the ones I like is called The Soul of Money. And she talks about three beliefs. The belief that there's not enough money. It's a precious resource.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
the second belief is that more is better.
Right.
Which is so not true. Right? Like if I have a house of this size, then a bigger house is better. Well, no, it's going to cost you more, and you have rooms on every room. It's not. More is not better. Often less is more precious.
Oh, I love that. Less is more precious. That's great.
And the final one, that this is just the way life is. This is just it. I can't do better. I'm not good at math. I can't get another degree. I can't get a better job. It's just life just isn't fair. Well, maybe it's not. But fairness isn't what I'm looking for. I'm looking for, and Joseph Campbell talked about this. He talked about people don't want to know the meaning of life. They want meaningful experience of life.
Yes.
And he talked about money, and he said it's coalesced energy. Sort of in that mythological framework. It's just a pocket of energy. What do you want to do with that energy? It's a very different way of looking at life. So when you talk about money differently, you talk about life.
That's so great. And he had an idea of the rapture of life.
Absolutely.
That's what we're after. We want to feel the rapture of life.
Right. Yeah. Right. We're in that flow.
Yes.
Right?
Yes,
Csikszentmihalyi talks about that. The flow of life. But when you're in the flow, it might be hard work, but you don't know. And so that I think is what we're looking for. Money's part of it.
Yes. And having a good relationship with money helps us to be able to have that.
Right.
And I love how you're able to break it down for us to be able to see that, yeah, it's getting clear on how we feel and what we want. We're clear, but it's not. It's a feeling thing. It's like being, having more, socialization, having people around, and having wonderful experiences and traveling, and having a nice place to call my own place of home, or whatever.
And whatever that might be. For some people, one of my dearest friends sold her house and bought a little camper. And so she's really tiny. But her goal, her dream, it was to visit places she'd never seen that she could drive to. So she's now spent 2 years doing that. Very, very small income. Very small. And joyful. Completely joyful.
It's about knowing you, right? Isn't it about knowing you and what
do
you
I
want?
really want? And you know what? More zeros
Doesn't
necessarily get me there.
And then subtracting. Once you know what you really want, then pulling that apart. What you don't need anymore. Subtracting those things that are like draining you. And one of the things that is a pitfall for many people, and so they can get it. We understand this idea of subtracting and sustainability and all that, but it is the things like debt and credit cards and bills, and which are like huge energy suckers, and they drain us. They drain us, so we can have this vision for ourselves, and all of a sudden, well, every choice that I've made up until this point has resulted in this. That how do we get back on track? How do we approach this?
So my first thing is always like don't be ashamed. Don't be ashamed. You grew up in a world where we do it. You've ever been on a college campus? Credit card companies are out there the first day and having students sign up for credit cards. That's terrible.
I'm sorry.
It is.
That's wrong.
No,
they're vulnerable.
So we sort of teach people that debt is just part of life. So first, don't be ashamed. Don't be embarrassed. Don't be ashamed. I usually ask people if they have a financial advisor. Good, reputable ones can be found at banks, credit unions, or really good reputable ones that can start talking to you about how much can you, and there's books on like how to pay off your debt. Okay, so here's how you pay off your debt. Smallest one first, take that much money, and the second one, blah, blah, blah. There often companies are willing to talk to us about lower payments so that we can get there. I mean, there's tons of ways to do it. But I think the first key system is you got them. Okay. You probably do have some things to show for it, especially if it's student debt.
Yeah.
You have a college degree, you have information, you have knowledge, you know you can learn. That's precious. People can't take that from you. It's okay. And then when I was deep in debt, somebody said to me, they don't have debtors' prisons anymore. Like, wow, look at that. Like, no one's going to come to my door. Like,
nobody's going to put me in prison because I got
wait, okay, it's a problem. But right now I'm wanting some control. And this is something that I'm going to not be ashamed of. I'm going to work with somebody. And I'm going to get it.
Is it important to create, one of the lessons I think we need to learn is that, as a women, that's one of the reasons people at the show is we got to respect money. You got to change the relationship with money. You got to see what money gives you in a healthy way, and not to have this negative association with it. I think it's such an important thing.
Absolutely.
And that's one of the lessons to get. I also, is it important to create a budget? Is it important to make a recovery plan? To start saving some money as well.
Right. I think it depends on the person. Right. So some people work really well with money. Some people are disaster. They have a sense of where, if you know where your money goes, then you at least know this much is about this much is about this much is and this is splurging. Right?
Because you're going to indulge that part.
You've got to indulge that part. If you run out of willpower. There's research on this too. That by the end of the day, you've used your willpower, and now you're thinking that you have none left. You've used it up. So we know over time you can get sort of, I would think of it as savings fatigue. I've been saving, and I really would like to just go buy myself something.
Right.
So if we can plan for those splurges, we do that. Right? So that's one piece. So for many people, a budget works. If not a budget, at least track your expenses. You know, there's great inexpensive ways to do that. You don't want to add money to do that. But do you track what you spend? Do you see what you spend? And then what does that tell you? Again, I have a very large shop. I sometimes have a very big debt bill. It's something I need to be aware of.
Right.
Now it's a choice.
Right.
And
being able to have those kind of clear choices and having thought that through.
Right.
And I think it's, you know, and if you're not allowing yourself to enjoy your life too, you're coming back all of a sudden and you're just like, I'm going to live this ascetic life and I'm going to save all these things and I'm going to do it. It's not going to, you've got to live a balanced life.
In the moment.
Right. You got to get that rapture.
Absolutely.
The rapture that we're talking about. Right?
And I think that one of the gifts is we realize that we don't buy that.
You don't buy that.
We don't buy that.
You cannot buy that.
And there are so many ways to just have a wonderful time without money. It's absolutely incredible.
And sometimes that's one of the gifts of being in debt or having these things.
Absolutely.
It's because you have to look for those small things in life.
I mean, think about where we are so gifted and blessed where we live. Okay? Summertime, it doesn't take much to go hiking. It's very warm to go outside and be in nature. There are so many amazing ways to have a lovely life and save money and reserve that bit of splurge. And the splurge might be something big. It might be that, so I took an adventure vacation last summer. It was completely paid for by the time I left on the vacation, except for, you know, maybe some meals and whatever while I was there, but I had the money in the bank. So it was easy to save that year. I went with a girlfriend. We were saving buddies. We talked about how much we had to put away, and I got a little bit aware of it. It was a hiking adventure, and it was somewhere I'd never even heard of. It was amazing, and oh my God, look what we're gonna do, and we're gonna have this is amazing, this is incredible, and the saving of the money was a gift because it was leading up to the excitement of this big adventure.
Yeah.
And then we did it, and there was no guilt about the money because we paid.
And I think that helps to feel that relationship with you.
Absolutely.
Because you don't feel guilty for having said it. I think anytime we associate any kind of guilt or shame associated with something, it makes us feel bad. And it keeps us from having that energy that allows it to move freely within our life.
And there's a really good chance we're going to splurge. If you feel guilty, I mean, think about this when somebody was on a diet. They eat something that wasn't on the diet. Well, I already blew it. I might have to blow it now. So we do the same thing with, I already blew my budget. I'll just blow it. As opposed to the first, again, it's that guilt, it's that shame, it's that fear we have around money.
What if somebody says, you know, they guilt you for being greedy? Oh, you're just being so greedy. Don't you recognize, you know, that all these other...
Is that true? I mean, the first thing I say to people, because I've had clients, so is that true?
Yeah.
Do you donate?
Yes.
Love
it. Oh my gosh, I can't believe we're coming. We got just a few minutes left.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
I want to make sure, first, you're in the Jewish mysticism. Right?
I am.
I love it. I mean, I love knowing these different mystical traditions. How did you get into the Jewish mysticism, and do you use this to help people with their issues with money?
So I took myself through my PhD as a professional astrologer. I'm Jewish, and astrology and Kabbalah are linked together. The tarot cards and Kabbalah are linked together. And then when I worked on as a master's, I really wanted to dig in. What is this stuff? And I definitely use astrology for clients. Sometimes that's our first meeting. You figure out what your soul wants to create. That'll help us with what are you going to want with what you're thinking. Let's make it a bit of a spiritual journey. So I will use that. The Kabbalist view of money is fascinating because people always say, why are citing scriptures to me? I'm like, yeah, those aren't true scriptures. There's nothing wrong with money. in Jewish mysticism, it's energy.
Yeah.
And there's a sense of luck. Right now, I'm lucky. I have an obligation to share it.
Wow.
So the Jewish word tzedakah, which is usually translated as charity, actually means justice.
Wow.
I have it. It is only just to share.
Wow.
At some point, I may not have.
Yeah.
And the world will be just. Our community will be just.
That's amazing.
That's a very different view of things.
Totally different.
Right? And so you want people to have money in your community because it keeps the whole community going.
Yeah. We don't realize $10, it's a $10 bill for this, and then it pays $10 to this person, and they take that money and they get to go buy groceries, and that person gets to go back. And so that $10 was $50.
That's right.
In the movement and the whole community.
Yeah. So I use astrology. It depends what somebody's open to. I love using astrology. And I think the Jewish mystical tradition just comes out of my mouth without realizing it, because it does.
Is there, when you combine the mysticism part of it out there, are they open to it usually?
Yeah, I have found that people are very open to astrology. Yeah. They're very open to conversation. I've taught for years in an academic dean, a full professor. I was, so just a little bit ago. I learned that wherever I was teaching, students really wanted to know what am I supposed to do? What's my life about? What's my meaning? It didn't matter what I was teaching.
I think that's what people want. People who grew up before World War II didn't have these kinds of questions. They know there was just something has changed.
Right. You just did what your family did.
That's it.
These are the opportunities you had, and that's what you did.
Yeah. And now they're asking me, what is the purpose of my life? What am I doing?
Right. And they're asking for God.
These are mystical questions.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh, I'm going to have you back on the show.
We'll have to do that.
I think it'd be so great. I want to let everybody know about your show. Please tell us all about your show.
I am so excited.
Yeah.
I can't contain myself. I'm going to have a show Thursday mornings at 11. The first show is December 26th. We are going to talk about options other than New Year's resolutions. New Year's resolutions often find people taking on guilt, right? They resolve to do something they don't want to do, and they're not quite willing to do, and then they punish themselves. So that's going to be my first show, and then I'll be every other Thursday starting in January.
Oh, it's so fantastic.
I'm so excited.
Oh
My tagline is inspiring a Renaissance spirit, and I think that's my life goal, is to inspire a Renaissance spirit in the people around me, in the people who listen to me and interact.
Oh my God, that's brilliant. Oh, that is beautiful.
I'm so excited.
Oh my God, I'm so excited for that.
Right.
You're such a, I can already sense that your energy and what you offer here is just KUHS. We're going to catapult to another level over here.
Honestly, I feel blessed. I feel so blessed to have this opportunity.
Wow. Well, we're blessed to have you.
This is great.
We're definitely very blessed to have you. Lisa, I always ask just before we close out the show, all of my guests, one real quick question, just to kind of close it out. If you could give one bit of advice, one bit of wisdom from your life experience, what would it be?
I have to quote Victor Frankl, who said that, that we always have a choice of how we respond to a situation. We always have a choice. I may not have choice about what's happening around me, but I have choice about what I believe, how I respond, how I treat people, decisions that I have choice. And I think that that's powerful to recognize that regardless of the situation, I have choice. And if you're thinking this was some guy who wrote a book that didn't actually have a hard life, he survived 3 concentration camps in the Holocaust in Michelle. And he wrote that. So it's amazing. That book was life changing. The Man's Search for Meaning. Yeah.
And for him to come out with that kind of grounded wisdom, and having that face that concentration camp and those death camps and everything, to be able to come out with
I have choices.
I have choices. They can't take this away. Nobody can take that away.
And maybe that's when, and
They have everything.
he said that's when people die. When they have lost that.
Thank you.
This has been great.
This has been so fantastic.
Fun.
This has been so great.
Yeah, this has been fun for us. I hope it's been great for you.
Who's been tuning in, and folks, thank you so much for tuning in today to the council. We are being broadcast from here on KUHS, right here in Denver, Colorado, all across the nation, and all across the world. We are being listened to by over 40, 50 different countries, and it continues to grow. I want to thank you all for tuning in and taking time out of your days to spend it with us. And, really, it's an honor and a privilege to be your host. We will be back on next week for one last show for 2019. Our guest is going to be a guy named Ryan Mielkarek. I have to get that last name back. But he is Executive Director of Veteran Rights. And so we're going to talk about veteran rights next week. Folks, thank you so much for tuning into the council. The council is adjourned. May you all be well. May you all be free of pain and suffering. And may you all be whole. God bless, folks. We'll see you very soon.
This thing shows its screen.
And then you wait, and then it's